Hey guys, and welcome back to Tackle Crew. Today I've got a great video for you. We are comparing the Shimano SLX 610 medium with the Zodias 610, the Expride 610 medium, and also the brand new Poison Adrena 610 medium. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good one for you. Let's go. And first off, we have the Shimano SLX rod. Now, this is a 610 medium rod, but it actually stands out a little bit among these other rods that I'm comparing it to today. And the reason being that it's classified, the casting is classified up to ½ ounce and not 3/4 ounce. But this is their 610 medium rod. And so I wanted to throw it in there and compare it to the other ones. And you will actually be surprised by my opinions about this rod. But let's talk a little bit about this rod and what it weighs, what it can do, and my thoughts on it. So here's the thing, I actually love this rod. And in the past we did a video comparing the SLX 610 medium rod with the Expride rod. And the reason why I picked this rod up was primarily because of its weight, because this rod in particular in the SLX lineup is super lightweight, and that is why it compares a little bit to these other rods. The other rods in the SLX lineup, they are a little bit more heavy and I didn't quite like them, but this rod is super light and for its price extremely well built. And so the SLX rod looks pretty good. I think it has a nice design. It's got these EVA foam handles, and it's got this nice matte finish blank, and this is a medium fast rod, I think it is, and it's actually it's actually a medium power and extra fast rod in the Shimano's classification of this rod, but it's a pretty soft tip and it's a little bit softer comparing it to these other four rods, but you will be surprised about the quality of this rod, and especially about the sensitivity of the rod in the SLX lineup. So here in the northern part of Europe, it costs about $99 or around that price, and there's a fly stuck in here. It's a really good value rod for the price. And the SLX rods, like I said, in the whole lineup, it's a little bit more heavy, a little bit more bulky. You have a reel seat that isn't to my liking if I had to choose, but all in all, because of the lightweight blank in this model in particular, I really felt like I wanted to give it a go, and man, I was surprised. This rod actually performs extremely well compared to these rods that are priced double and even triple the amount of price. So if you're looking into a rod that's super lightweight, that does not break your bank, and definitely casts well, you have exceptional sensitivity for the price, then the Shimano SLX rod is the rod for you. But I will talk a little bit about these other rods as well, and comparing them to the SLX rod as well, because I want to talk about the rod action and the weight of them and how they actually perform on the water as well. Well, next up is the Shimano Zodias rod, and the Zodias rod is definitely a step up. If you're looking into a rod that you're a beginner or a little bit more advanced fisher and you want to step up from that basic line of Shimano rods, then the Shimano Zodias is a great way to go. This has a full carbon blank. It's got that high power X technology in the blank. You've got a full carbon monocoque handle. Well, actually we got an EVA handle over here, but you got the monocoque handle in the back, and this increases the sensitivity quite a bit. And do you notice it when you compare it to the Shimano SLX and going up to the Zodias? Yes, you definitely feel the difference. There is definitely a difference in sensitivity, and also this rod is, I think it's a little bit more light than the SLX, or about the same, so that doesn't change a lot, but the build quality is completely different. You can feel it when you pick it up, and especially the reel seat is built much better than the SLX. Have a look at this. I'm hoping that the camera can pick it up, but it's got a whole different feel. It's a whole different material that they put in, and it just feels different when you pick it up. And so the Zodias rod was my second rod that I picked up for my, well, especially my jerkbait fishing. And I actually picked up the Zodias before I picked up the SLX, and I was extremely happy about this rod. Love the feel, love the weight, and also love the action when I fished it. The action of this rod is definitely faster. Like I said, the SLX rod, the casting weights are a little bit lower on that one. So this one is, I would say, a proper 610 medium. So the lure weight is 7 to 21 grams, or if you like, 1/4 to 3/4 ounce baits you can throw on here. And this rod is definitely, I would say that it's, the power is medium, of course, like it's classified, and it's, I wouldn't say that it's extra fast, but it's moderate fast. And I like this action on this rod. But comparing it to the Shimano Expride, which I will talk about in a little bit, you will definitely feel some differences. But if you compare the SLX rod to the Zodias rod, then you will feel like this rod has a little bit more power, and it's definitely faster in my opinion. So there you have the Shimano SLX rod. I really like the design. I really like its lightweight, and going from an SLX rod to a Zodias rod, you will definitely feel the difference in sensitivity, and you will definitely feel the difference in build quality. So from SLX to Zodias, it's a great way to level up your game in your fishing. Next up, we have the Shimano Expride 610 medium, and this is the jerk bait king in my opinion. I love this rod. I absolutely love this rod. And after I picked up my Zodias, I watched some online videos and I had some friends who had used this, and I just wanted to pick it up, and I heard so many good things about it. And immediately when you pick this rod up, you feel that you're picking up a premium rod. Now the weight is crazy. It doesn't weigh it doesn't weigh a thing. You can hardly feel like it's in your hand. Super lightweight. Build quality is amazing. I mean, I don't know every term for everything in Shimano's fishing rod lineups, but there's a whole bunch of technologies in this Shimano Expride. We've got the monocoque handle, which is textured a little bit different than the Zodias, which make this superior in my opinion. I don't know if it's more sensitive or not, but it just feels a little bit different, and I like it. I like it a lot. And so Shimano Expride 610 medium, same classification as the Zodias rod, so you have your 7 to 21 gram lure weight, or if you like, then your 1/4 ounce to 3/4 ounce. And the difference between this rod and the Zodias, obviously the looks, the design. You have a different reel seat and a different handle, etc. But difference in the blank between these two is that you have a little bit softer midsection in my opinion. comparing it to the Zodias rod. And you have a little bit more faster tip, but like I said, softer midsection. And what this does, this actually makes this rod superior to the Zodias rod when you're doing your jerkbait fishing, and if you're doing your chatterbait fishing, in my opinion, and also maybe your spinnerbait fishing, because the Zodias feels a little bit more heavy in its action, or heavy duty fishing, whereas this rod is your great action for your reaction baits, like the jerkbait, chatterbait, spinnerbait. And that's what I use my Expride rod the most for. And I feel like the weight of this rod comparing to the Zodias is probably about the same, but definitely the action is different. So if you're thinking that, okay, the Zodias 610 medium is the same as the Expride, I would disagree. And you will definitely feel the difference when you fish it straight away. And it's not, I mean, it's not huge, but it's definitely there. And it does make a difference when you're fishing your jerkbaits, spinnerbaits, and chatterbaits, for example. And so the midsection is a little bit more forgiving, and tip is a little bit faster. So I really like that. When I do my jerkbait fishing, you can hit your bait with a tip, but as soon as you get a fish, that midsection is a little bit more forgiving and loads up and helps with landing the fish. And the Zodias has a little bit faster and a little bit more sturdy midsection, which I actually didn't like as soon as I picked up this. I was perfectly happy with my Zodias actually, until I picked up the Expride, and I realized how good the Expride was. And I mean, the Zodias is still great, but just how superior the Expride rod is for that types of fishing techniques. So if you have an SLX rod, or you have the Zodias and you want to step up another step in your game, maybe you're a professional or looking into some more professional gear, then the Shimano Expride 610 medium is probably my all-time favorite rod. And for me, I'm doing I'm fishing perch mainly, and so it's actually my favorite rod for perch fishing at the moment, and I love this rod. All right, and next up and lastly, we have the brand new Poison Adrena. Now this rod is, well, it's a ridiculous rod. I mean, it's probably the best looking rod that I've picked up ever, I think, and probably the most lightweight, and I think probably the most, I don't know if it's ergonomic or I don't know what, but it's just great in your hand. That's what I can tell you. It's probably the best rod that I've held in my hand ever, I think. So it's more expensive. I know it's more expensive, but it is a much more premium rod. They've got this UBT technology, or whatever they called it. It's ultimate blank design. So they have this full monocoque handle, which is hollow. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it's hollow. And that apparently increases the sensitivity even more in this rod. Great looking blank. I mean, so lightweight. You actually have to pick it up to feel it. But man, this new Poison Adrena, we fished it for some time now. Designed and collab with Jackal. So they've done a really good job on this. So anyways, this is a 610 medium as well, 721 grams, quarter ounce to 3/4 ounce lure rating. And comparing this rod to these other rods, well, then you have a rod which is pretty close to your Zodias rod, I would say. If you have a Zodias rod and you're going to the Poison Adrena 610 medium, then you pretty much have the same blank, I feel. Like I said, this is a little bit more heavy duty in the midsection, a little bit faster here, and then you have a tip which is nice and fast as well. But the Zodias and the Poison Adrena, they are pretty much the same blank, I would feel, in the way that they've built them. The Expride, a little bit slower in the midsection, like I talked about before, still has that fast tip, but has a slower midsection. And this Poison Adrena is definitely faster, feels more heavy duty to me in the hand and when you're fishing it. So if you have an Expride and you're doing jerkbait fishing, I would say that the Expride is probably still my favorite rod because of that midsection, which is a little bit softer. And but when it comes to your chatterbait, spinnerbait, and maybe some other techniques that you have, then this Poison Adrena is actually my favorite rod for that type of techniques at the moment. It just performs amazing. Like, it's so lightweight, it feels so good in your hand. And I'll show you, of course, you have the monocoque handle, but on the Poison Adrena you have the full monocoque handle, so vibrations come into your hand noticeably more than the Expride. And sometimes you feel like when you pick up an Expride, how can anything be more sensitive than that? But they've actually done it. The Poison Adrena, they've done a great job. Super sensitive, super lightweight. Just the design is awesome on this rod. So if you want a premium rod that really performs better than the SLX, performs better than the Zodias, and performs better than the Expride in general, then Poison Adrena is the rod for you. But like I said, if you're looking for a 610 medium rod for your jerkbait fishing, then I would still go for the Shimano Expride. Alright, so let's talk a little bit more about the rod action. The SLX rod has a softer midsection, and I mean, it's fast tip, but like I said before, the lure rating is lower than the Expride, I mean all the other rods. So it has a little bit softer tip, but I feel like the SLX rod's action is probably the closest to the Shimano Expride. So if you want a really budget option for your Expride rod, then the SLX rod is a great option. Now, I have been surprised by how well this performs, and also extremely happy about how it feels in your hand, and especially with its price. I mean, I feel like it's performing way above its price point. The Shimano SLX 610 medium, I would probably say that this is the best value rod that I've probably ever tried. So great midsection, little bit softer in the top, but still fast. And like it's classified as extra fast, and I feel that's true for the lure rating. So you can definitely do jerkbait fishing with this, and you can definitely do some good and proper spinnerbait and chatterbait fishing on this rod. If you want an Expride on a budget, then the SLX rod is for you. It might seem surprising to some people to not go for the Zodias, but that's my opinion. And obviously we have a line here which we haven't talked about today, and that's the Curado line of rods. But in my opinion, I actually didn't like them, comparing them to these. So I probably wouldn't recommend the Curado rods. I would probably rather go and spend less money and put them into an SLX rod. And talking about the Zodias rod and the Zodias blank again, like I said, has well, a tougher or harder midsection and a really fast tip. Really fast tip. And I would say that this Zodias is probably a better budget option for the Poison Adrena than the Expride is. Now you will definitely have more sensitivity in your Expride. I feel the blank provides with that, but you still have the monocoque handle here in your Zodias rod. And if you have the Zodias rod and you want to make a big step up to a better rod that has the same blank, then the Poison Adrena is the way to go. It's a lot more expensive than the Zodias, but if you want to step up, the Poison Adrena is the way to go. And the Shimano Expride, softer midsection, still a fast tip, but great responsive blank. And if you have an SLX rod, you want to make a step up, then go for the Expride. Don't go to the Zodias, go to the Expride. It's definitely worth your money. I promise you that. The action of these two rods, the SLX and the Expride, are much more alike than the other two. So if you like your SLX rod, you want to step up, then like I said, go for the Expride. It's an amazing rod, probably my favorite rod out of all of these four rods because of its lightweight, sensitivity, cost, all in one in the package. Then the Expride is probably the one I would recommend, but like I said, the action is quite like the Shimano SLX rod. And the Poison Adrena blank, just as a conclusion, heavy midsection, a little bit faster than the others, fast tip, so all in all feels more heavy duty than all of the other rods. But if I had to compare it to some rod here, it's definitely the Zodias rod. So if you have a Zodias, you want to step up, go to this one. Or if you're looking at the Poison Adrena and you can't spend the money, then go for the Zodias rod. That is definitely my recommendation. Alright, so and if I had to recommend just one rod out of these rods, well, I wanted to say the Shimano SLX rod because it's such a great rod for your money. I mean, if you just need a backup rod or just a rod that you have in your car, or just a rod that you just bang up and you just need something that you don't have to be so gentle with. Well, Shimano SLX rod is never wrong, I would say. I'm actually, well, I've said it now, but I'll say it again. I'm super impressed with the Shimano SLX rod. I was really surprised how well it performs and how good it feels in your hand. You will definitely have that cheaper reel seat, and the sensitivity is not quite there as the other rods, but it's a great rod. But actually, I will not recommend that rod as the only rod to buy if you're buying one rod out of these. And the one rod that I would recommend and that I would put my money on is actually the Shimano Expride. I know it's a little bit more expensive than the Zodias and the SLX, but you will have a rod that performs amazing. Sensitivity is just through the roof, performs well above its price class. Even though it's an expensive rod for some people, then this rod is an investment, and you will definitely step up your game, and you probably won't feel the need to go up to a Poison Adrena if you have a Shimano Expride. I bought the Poison Adrena just because I wanted to try it out. I would love to fish, and I mean, I could spend the money, so I did that. But if I just had one rod, I would probably keep the Expride and use this one if I had to pick one of all of these rods. And so there you have it. That's my recommendation, the Shimano Expride. It's an amazing rod out of all of these rods. But I mean, obviously, if you have the money, spend it on the Poison Adrena. It's an amazing rod. You will definitely feel it. You will not be disappointed with the Poison Adrena rod at all. And that leaves the Zodias rod, which I feel like it's a great rod. I mean, I loved it when I first picked it up. If you can't spend the money on the Expride, well, then go for the Zodias, of course. It's not a bad rod. It's definitely not a bad rod. It's actually a great rod. But just comparing them, price, performance, all of that stuff, then I probably wouldn't recommend going on the Zodias. But like I said, if you can't spend the money on the Poison Adrena or the Expride, then the Zodias is definitely better than the SLX rod. It just is. It's a step up in sensitivity, step up in build quality, and I mean, it's a little bit faster rod than the SLX. So if you're actually throwing that 21 gram lures or that 3/4 ounce lures, then the Zodias probably for you. So, but out of all of these, I'm probably the least impressed with the Zodias, if I can say that. I'm impressed with the SLX because of its price and its performance. Impressed by the Shimano Expride because its performance way above its price, and just all in all impressed by the Poison Adrena because it's just, I mean, yeah, it's something. You should have a look at it, pick it up in your store, and see what you think for yourself. But there you have it, guys. That is my comparison. I hope it helps out in picking one of these rods out, and I hope it helps out in choosing which rod is the best for you, and hopefully you can pick up the rod that's best for your budget as well. We never recommend people going over the budget, but if you can spend the money, go a step up. You will not be disappointed. All right, there we have it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like these types of videos, please leave a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe. It really helps out a lot. Makes our videos reach a lot more people. So please do that. And thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.